Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great America Show. It's great to have you with us on this beautiful Wednesday night in America. Tonight's show, we are live. We are back from the great state of Florida, back here in our New York studio, to bring you guys a great episode. So, as I mentioned, we are live. So, any questions you guys have, we do these live shows every now and then to take the audience question. Any comments, concerns, questions you guys have, if you're joining us on Rumble, post your comment in the Rumble section. If you're joining us on YouTube, drop it in there. So on and so forth for all other platforms that you're joining us on, Facebook, Twitter, wherever else we are streaming out. Hard to keep up, I guess, these days. So quite an eventful week it's been, as it has been since January 20th in this country with President Trump back at the reins, back at the helm. He hosted the president of South Africa today, and boy, was it interesting. He held back no punches, taking this man to task with the simple issue of genocide that is happening in his country that nobody wants to seem to talk about. Now, Elon Musk, we're going to get to him in just a few moments and some of the news that he brought up today. But Elon Musk was the one to bring this issue to President Trump about the genocide that's currently happening inside South Africa that the president is doing absolutely nothing about. So President Trump, as confrontational as he is, but it's not really confrontational. It's a man who cares about the truth. It's a man who cares about truth, justice, in the American way, took President Ramaphosa to task and called him out right to his face. Now, he played a 10-minute video for the president about the genocide that's going on in South Africa. We're not going to play that for you. It's all over YouTube or wherever you guys get your videos. But we are going to get President Trump calling him out to his face. Take a listen.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilized.
The farmers are not black. I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off. They died violently. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake, like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it, but they won't.
That jerk he was referring to was Peter Alexander. We're going to tell you what he did to make an ass of himself today in the Oval Office. Total fool. Jerk, I think, is keeping it far too nice, as President Trump often is. So just before we got on air here tonight live, Axios put out a piece and said that there are unsustained claims that this genocide is happening in South Africa, just as a reported 70,000 people, 70,000 South Africans have filed claims of asylum in that country. So clearly something is going on there. Now, President Trump didn't come with unsubstantiated claims. He came with the receipts, and he presented them to President Ramaphosa's face. Take a listen.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. Horrible death. Death. I don't know. To pick anyone, white South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all, I mean, I'll give these to you.
No,
so when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couples say that they were attacked violently. And,
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it is?
well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried. And he asks about a jet that was given. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know, you are so bad. You're such a bad reporter. This is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can we get a report from President Ramaphosa?
Your reaction to those videos, Mr.
President Trump.
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you look at the videos, I mean, how does it get worse? And these are people that are officials, and they're saying that kill the white farmer and take their land. That's what. And I have other friends in South Africa. I have people that left. One in particular that says you can't go there. He said they want to take your land. They take your land and they kill you. It's okay, and they say it's okay to do. Now we're going to talk about it. But this is a tremendous look. This is a story recent. Yeah. These are all people that recently got killed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it can get any worse. These are. And you know, the men that you saw, the people that you saw in that movie, those are officials. Those are people that were in office. They had one march, they had a dance in your parliament, whatever you may call it, legislature.
Well, let me clarify that.
Yeah.
Did he really just say, President Ramaphosa, let me know where you found those? Pretending like he doesn't know what's going on inside his country? Slap in the face. Like I said, just before we got on air here, breaking report from Axios, quote, there is no evidence that white farmers in South Africa are experiencing a spike in violence, despite a few high-profile cases. Well, President Trump pulled out 10 or 15 right there in front of all of our eyes, to which the president of South Africa tried to, whoa, slow down there, to try to keep it under wraps. So what exactly are they talking about? The deceptive mainstream media is a bunch of liars. They continue to lie, and they're like Michael Cohen, to the sense that once they start lying, they simply cannot stop. These people are sociopaths. They're pathological gaslighters. It's what they've done to this country for the last 10 years, and it's what they're going to continue to do as long as people tune into this propaganda. Now, you heard President Trump making fun of Peter Alexander there. We won't mention what publication he's from, but they're in there. They're talking about genocide in a different country because these people are trying to come to America to flee their home country. And this numbskull is still caught up on that 747 plane from Qatar. Take a listen.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know, you to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing, they also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back. You ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible
If they're
reporter.
committing genocide, why is
Quiet.
That's my question now.
Let's go.
Oh boy, it's like 2016 all over again with these mental cases inside the Oval Office, folks. Like as I said before, we're live tonight, Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're joining us. Happy to take any of your questions. We're going to get to them. We're going to take a short break here, a very short break, as you folks all know who tune in every night. I want to give a shout out to Sunny Bunny in the chat, Kelly Song for joining us every night, Fall Girl for joining us every night in Rumble. We appreciate you ladies joining us. There's a few people who watch this show, folks, that never miss an episode. Fall Girl, Kelly Song are two of them. We're going to take a quick break here. We're coming right back on the other side. We're taking your questions. So much more to get to. That big, beautiful bill. Elon Musk, what's his next plans? What's going to happen? Is he done with politics for good? Where's he spending his money? He also attacked somebody, not physically, of course, but he's going after somebody, and we're going to tell you who it is. Stay with us. We're coming right back after a brief message from our friend Mike Lindell.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that we're making it through. My employees and I want to thank you for your continued support by extending our wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows only $14.98. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98. But it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including my standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98, Kings only $1 more. Not only that, order $75 or more, ship absolutely free. From all of us here at MyPillow, thanks America!
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us through that quick break. We're going to, like I said, take some of your questions here. We're going to get to all that. I want to turn to now that big, beautiful bill. Somebody in the Rumble chat had mentioned it. If we could find it here, get it up there on the screen. Sunny Bunny, do you think President Trump's big, beautiful bill will pass? With some emojis that are not coming up on the screen. It's going to be interesting to see. There are some rhinos who are holding it up. Just before we got on air here, it's being reported that the three Cuban representatives from Florida, Carlos Jimenez, Rep. Mario Diaz-Balart, and Rep. Maria Elvira Salazar, all of whom represent districts in South Florida full of Venezuelan illegal aliens who are awaiting deportation, are threatening to vote against the big, beautiful bill if he extends the licenses for Chevron and other American oil companies operating in Venezuela for another 60 days. So that's what we're up against. Those of you who tuned into Newsmax yesterday when I joined with my good buddy John Bachman, or joined us here, saw that you have the New York squad who are also holding it up, that are holding the bill up because of the SALT deduction. Now, those of you who are lucky enough to not live in the Northeast, to not live in New York, or to not live in New Jersey, there's something called a state and local tax deduction that you can take on your federal taxes. And I think it lets you deduct up to $10,000 or $12,000 of your property taxes and various taxes that you pay in New York and New Jersey that you don't pay other places because taxes are so damn high. Whereas, other states, you don't pay ridiculous property tax unless you're under the ruling of Governor Ron DeSantis. But the average person here in New York, if you're in one of the suburbs and you live in, we'll say like a $700,000 house, which in most states, $700,000 gets you a mansion. Here in the suburbs of New York, $700,000 merely gets you a shed. You're still looking at paying $8,000 to $9,000 to $10,000 a year in property taxes. So it's highway robbery, it's rapery, it's everything. But you've got this rhino squad up in New York who's grandstanding. Mike Lawler, tiny little Mike Lawler, all 5'2" of him, is trying to take President Trump head on and threatening to hold up this bill for the millions and tens of millions, hundreds of millions of Americans who need the relief. Let's not forget what's in this big, beautiful bill. We'll actually pull it up here. Those of you who are joining us on video will be able to see what we're going to show you on the screen, because I think Peter Navarro, excuse me, President Trump's one of his economic advisors, put it together beautifully on what these rhinos are actually holding up, what they're holding up from the American people. New factories built in the United States get enhanced expensing and tax relief. 300,000 new jobs, wage boosts, more made in America across the board. 100% expensing returns. Manufacturers that buy a machine write it off immediately. So if you're a farmer, you go out and buy a John Deere, made in America. You write it off right away. You don't have to wait until the end of the year to get it back in a tax deduction. Those people who are operating on the margin and those people who are operating on a very slim margin, that'll do wonders for them because they'll be able to take out money right away, put it right back into their business and spend it right back away instead of maybe having to go take out a loan or whatever, not being able to take on an extra project because they can't front the money. Common sense, right? Rebuilding the industrial base, brick by brick. What President Trump has been talking about since he ran in 2016. Small business tax locked in. Trump makes a small business deduction permanent and bigger up to 23%. That's real relief for 30 million mom and pop shops, contractors, and Main Street builders. Why would these rhinos want to hold that up, especially in districts where it's small business? America, for the most part, and New York, for the most part, outside of New York City, runs on mom and pop shops, coffee shops, sporting goods stores, you name it. But, we all live in a place where you've got your favorite mom and pop shop. These Marxists, these rhinos, don't care about that. They don't care about the American people getting any sort of relief. In their eyes, I guess they don't deserve it, right? Then why do you deserve to be in Congress? So let's go on. Equipment expenses deduction doubled. Small business owners can now expense up to $2.5 million immediately. Just branching off of the equipment. Hire more, buy more equipment, grow faster. This bill makes it possible. Research and development write-offs restored. Research and development, innovation, spillover benefits, jobs, competitiveness. We're bringing that all back. Interest deduction renewed. Medium-sized manufacturers don't raise capital on Wall Street. They borrow. Makes sense, right? This bill brings back interest expense deductions they need to survive and grow. Critical minerals and rare earths. No more relying on strategic competitors for rare earths. China, Taiwan, all across the board, not here in America. Trump's bill supercharges domestic mining and processing of lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements. We mine it, we refine it, we use it in America. You folks remember what happened during COVID. You couldn't go buy a car. Used cars were through the roof. You couldn't afford a used car. You couldn't afford a new car. You couldn't find any car because of the computer systems in them, the rare earth minerals, and what's used to go into it. We couldn't get it. China shut us down. They shut down all deliveries into America. They played the game. Why would anyone be against that? America running on its own. Imagine not have to worry about if another country decides to shut down supply chain on us again. You guys remember we couldn't get cars, we couldn't get computers, we couldn't get phones, we couldn't get gowns, we couldn't get masks, nothing. We couldn't get anything because China decided they want to shut down our production line. So this bill allows for American innovation to flourish, American innovation to prosper. Why would anyone be against it? Why? Opportunity zones, number 9, opportunity zones extensions. Trump bill extends his opportunity zones program with $100 billion in targeted investments focused on rural, low-income, distressed communities for economic development. Capital flows where it's needed most. President Trump, the racist president. Imagine that, opportunity zones. The man they tell you is a racist. Imagine. Who's telling the truth here? Is it President Trump? Is it his cabinet? Or is it the mainstream media? You folks are all smart enough to know that. Number 10, real growth, real numbers. Trump's bill is projected to raise wages by $3,300 per worker. That's real money, folks. $3,300 per worker. For someone who's making minimum wage, for someone who's living paycheck to paycheck, $3,300 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money general. But for someone who's living paycheck to paycheck, who has to rely on a credit card, and credit card interest rates now at 30%, 35% on some cards with these companies absolutely raping people. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And I hope President Trump works on something to cap the credit card interest. It's criminal what they do to the American consumer. You rack up a bunch of debt, and then they say, okay, now you got to pay 35% on it after we signed you up for 12%. Scams. It adds 126 billion in manufacturing wages, unlocks 1.5 trillion in small business GDP, creates 1+ million small business jobs per year, boosts GDP by 108 billion from interest deductibility. Once again, why would anyone be against this? Doesn't make much sense. Trump's one big beautiful bill is pro-worker, pro-manufacturing, pro-growth. This isn't a theory. It's proven Trump's policy that grew the economy. Now it's coming back bigger, bolder, and permanently. Let's get it done. And Peter Navarro is absolutely right. Let's get it done. But there are these rhinos that we mentioned to you before who are threatening to hold it up. They're threatening to hold up the bill for various reasons. You've got the New York Rhino Squad who are holding it up for their SALT deduction. You've got these rhinos down in Florida who are holding it up for President Trump renewing a deal with Chevron. So to your question, Sonny Bunny, I'm not sure. The Senate unanimously passing the no tax on tips, that wasn't, excuse me, even in Navarro's tweet there, but no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on interest payments for your car loan if it's an American-made car. Pretty big ones, especially the no tax on tips and the no tax on overtime. So I don't know. I'm not confident. The Republicans constantly have this same issue time and time again where the rhinos come in and they ruin it for the rest of them. It's almost like they want to throw the midterms. It's almost like they want to get rid of the Republican Party in the majority and let Hakeem Jeffries take back over in the House and let the Marxist Dems run the show. Because the Republicans do not know how to run a government. It really makes no sense. It really makes no sense. Folks, we're going to take one more quick break here. And when we return, we're going to take up Elon Musk, Joe Biden, the secret that has been covered. That Marxist Dem congressman who's been arrested in New Jersey, turned himself in, hit their court appearance today. We'll tell you all about that when we return. We're also taking your questions. Any questions, please drop them in the chat, Rumble, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you guys are tuning in for. We're going to try to get to them before the end of the show. Stay with us, folks. We're coming right back here on The Great America Show.
Just like all of you, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. I'd flip-flop all night, use my arm for support, and fall asleep, or I'd wake up with a sore neck or maybe a headache. Well, quality sleep comes from keeping your neck straight at night. You have to fill in that space between your head and your bed. That's why I invented MyPillow. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it doesn't matter if you sleep on your back, stomach, side, or any combination of all three.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night, and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get Classic King MyPillows for only $19.98. Queen size just $18.98. Standard Classic MyPillows only $14.98. That's right, only $14.98. Plus all orders $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Thanks for staying with us, folks. And like I said, we're live tonight on Rumble, YouTube, Twitter. If you're joining us on audio, unfortunately, you're not live. You're catching the show after the fact. But please be sure to join us each and every night, 6 p.m. Eastern time for the Great America Show. We're now live on YouTube as well. We're trying to grow our YouTube channel just to have multiple avenues to get the word out there. So if you can follow us on our YouTube channel at The Great America Show on YouTube, at The Great America Show on YouTube. We're also on Instagram now, at The Great America Show on Instagram. We're going to be doing giveaways and all types of new things in the next coming weeks. So stay tuned for that on our Instagram page and as well as our YouTube page. We're going to take some of your questions. Like I said, any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, YouTube, Twitter, wherever. We've got a question from Z4FM58. They played the same game in 2017 and lost the majority in 2018. That's absolutely correct. It is absolutely correct because we really haven't had a Republican Speaker of the House who's been a Republican. Who have we had? We've had John Boehner, who left crying. You had Paul Ryan, who left in disgrace. You had Kevin McCarthy, who left in disgrace. And we now have feckless Mike Johnson, who sent fewer bills to the president's desk than any other president or any other Congress in the last 70 years. That's totally unacceptable. The Republicans know what is at stake here. They know that if the Republicans lose the majority in the House, that President Trump is going to be impeached. I can guarantee you he will be impeached. There's no doubt about it. The Republicans will sit back and relax, and the Democrats will go ahead and impeach him, and they'll laugh about it, and the Republicans don't care. I've said this for the last 6 months or so, and I've gotten a lot of blowback, believe it or not, from viewers of the show and other people, that President Trump needed to keep Mike Johnson on a short leash and give him a few months to get something rolling. And if he couldn't get the job done and he couldn't get the ball rolling in that few months, he has to go. So now we've got February, January. We'll give it to him for free because it's the end of the month. February, March, April. We're now at the end of May. We're going into June. Okay? February, March, April, May. You have 4 months. What does Mike Johnson have to show for in those 4 months? What has he done? Because everything on its face so far has been done by President Trump signing an executive order, which means one thing, that when the next president comes along, and we will have a Marxist Dem in the White House again one day, hopefully not soon, but when that next president comes in, he takes a pen and he can unsign every executive order that President Trump signed. None of these have been codified. The Republicans are dragging their feet. It's a total disgrace. So who is this incumbent upon? President Trump literally cannot do everything himself, as we all expect him to do, because he has for the last 10 years. He literally has nobody that has his back, with the exception of the few great men and women that he has working with him in the White House, who he brought back from the previous years. He literally has to do everything himself. He had to go to Capitol Hill the other day to negotiate with Mike Lawler like he's some sort of terrorist. Little Mike Lawler, because he's terrified of losing an election. Imagine that. And that's when you know politics is corrupt. You've got a politician more worried about running and winning re-election than you do about helping the American people. If I were in his district and I lived in his district, Republican or Democrat, I'd vote against him just for that sheer fact that he cares about screwing over the people because he wants to win re-election. Because he's incapable of getting another job in his life, little Mike. But slowly they're going to start to lose. Now, I don't know if he's auditioning for his next lobbying job because, like I said, there's no other job that he's capable of holding or he's qualified of holding. But it's a disgrace. He's putting the lives of people on the line. It's truly remarkable. But it's not just him. It's not just him. You've got the Republicans in the Senate, and I use Republicans loosely because they're total rhinos, who refuse to vote against codifying Doge's foreign aid spending cuts. Doge, of course, is Elon Musk's outfit. We'll read off the names to you, and we'll have some fun. John Barrasso, John Boozman, Capito, Cassidy, Collins, Kramer, Crapo, Fisher, Lindsey Graham, Lisa Murkowski, Mark Wayne Mullen, Moran, McCormick, McConnell, that should come as no surprise, Lankford, Hyde-Smith, Hoven, Grassley, Ricketts, Rounds, Scott. Yeah, that's right, Scott, the one who wanted to run for president. Not Rick Scott, of course. Tim Scott. Sullivan, John Thune, Tom Tillis, Wicker, and Young. All voting against codifying foreign aid cuts. Why are not every single one of these people investigated? To see where their foreign money is coming from. Because there's no explanation as to why you would be against some of this ridiculous foreign spending that we've seen that Elon Musk has called out over the last few months. No accountability. And that's why they continue to do it. There's no accountability inside the Republican Party. These rhinos get away with it. Tom Tillis single-handedly sunk the nomination of Ed Martin, D.C. U.S. Attorney, a man who would have got the damn job done, and that's for sure. But Tillis may have screwed himself in the long run because Ed Martin's going to be in a position right now in the civil division where he's going to be able to do a lot of damage. And by damage, I mean good damage, going after these people who are perpetrators of the law, who abused the law, who abused the Justice Department over the course of the last 4 years under Joe Biden. Let's talk about Joe Biden a little bit because we've been on the road and we really haven't had the chance to talk about Joe. Sort of an interesting story about Joe. I want to roll a clip. If you joined us the other day, you probably saw it. But back in 2022, Joe Biden was in Delaware talking about oil drilling and that he had cancer. This is back in 2022. Take a listen.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why can't, for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
So we all thought Joe Biden was crazy when he said that back in 2022. We thought he was losing his mind because he was, cognitively impaired. He was falling everywhere he went. He was stumbling. He was mumbling, grumbling. It was elder abuse what they did to him. I can't stand the guy. I can't. I think he's a very evil, vindictive person. It's not just the last 4 years. It's been his entire career. He's not a good person. But what his family did to him is disgusting. It's impeachable. It is absolutely abhorrent. His last known cancer screening was in 2014, is what's being reported. So that's 11 years ago now. Why would a man at his age be waiting 11 years to get screened for cancer? It doesn't really make much sense. Once you hit a certain age, you go every year to get your prostate checked to make sure, because it's the most common cancer among men. It's like women go for a breast screening after a certain age because breast cancer is, a big cancer among women, because you try to prevent this thing and you try to nip it in the bud. And if you do early enough, you have a very high survival rate, and the doctors have it down to a very good science, and you go to nip it in the bud as soon as you can. So after that age, you seem to go every single year. Why wasn't Joe Biden going for the last 11 years? Or maybe he was. Was he living with this cancer for the last 11 years? Some doctors are intimating that he's probably had this cancer for the last 5 to 10 years. But who knew? How does a man run for president to be the leader of the free world with cancer and not tell anybody? I mean, did he beat it? Did he go into a remission? Did it come back? I mean, there's so many questions. There's so many answers that need to happen. I mean, it's scary to think that the leader of the free world was operating in this country the last 4 years under a very serious cancer, because it didn't metastasize overnight. It doesn't get into your bones overnight. It takes a while to come from the prostate and get into your bones to the stage of where he's at now. And where it's at now, it doesn't look good. It's a very bad place that he's in right now. What's the survival rate? I'm not a doctor, but from all accounts, from all doctors that I've spoken to about this is a very bad position he's in. And I'll leave it at that, because like I said, I'm not a doctor, but you could probably intimate what happens next. But his office, Dr. Connolly, I believe is his doctor's name, who is apparently one of the best doctors in the world, owes us some answers. They owe us some answers. We've got a question here, which I'm going to bring onto the screen because it brings up a very, very good point. From Cadino Jr., Joe Biden's doctor and him were in business together. Dr. Ronnie tried to fire the doctor, but he wasn't allowed to because he was too close friends of the Biden. That is absolutely true. And it wasn't just this doctor. It was many doctors. It was Hunter Biden as well, but it was Joe. But what do you expect from this family? It's a family who's made money through corruption. And thanks for that comment, Catino Doctor, Catino Dr. Another one of our people who tunes in here almost every night for the Great America Show. But Joe Biden is literally, and his family have literally managed to infiltrate every single aspect of their life to making money, down to his health. He's managed to sell out all along the way. We let this man, I shouldn't say we let this man, because we all know he didn't win the 2020 election. We all know that. But it's just a travesty. But I say this all the time. It's a travesty that the 2020 election was stolen. But now that we look back at it, it may have been a blessing in disguise. These people exposed themselves. The fraudsters, the thieves, the people who stole the 2020 election, their masks were off. So they exposed themselves, number one. Number two, had President Trump assumed office back again in 2021, it would have been under a Marxist Dem leadership. So what would he have got done his first 2 years? Who knows what would happen with the Congress the next 2 years? Would he have been a lame duck president sitting there not being able to do anything? It's possible. So we all sweated out for 4 years. We all dealt with this Marxist Joe Biden and the Marxists he surrounded himself with. I was with somebody yesterday having a cigar, and he asked me, he said, who do you think was running the country under Joe Biden? Because you often hear it was Barack Obama. But I've been told on very good accounts that Obama did not respect Joe Biden and would not speak to him directly. He would call Susan Rice, who would then direct Joe Biden. And I sat there and I thought for a second, who was it? And I have to assume it was probably a few people, John Podesta's group of people, Susan Rice's group of people. And then I said to myself, why would Joe Biden listen to these people? They didn't respect him. They didn't care for him. They didn't like him. They thought he was a buffoon. They thought he was an idiot. He was a fool. Why would he listen to them? And when you couple it together with this whole cancer diagnosis, it all makes sense. If Joe Biden doesn't listen to these people, if he doesn't go along with what they're saying, maybe they out him. Maybe these people knew he had cancer. Maybe that's what they held over his head for the last 4 years, the last 5 years. Maybe that's why he was so complicit. Maybe that's why he stepped down back in July. Maybe they threatened to out him, which is why he waited so long as a big FU and a big middle finger to the Democrat establishment who used his sickness, his cancer, to leverage him. Now, this is just speculation, but usually with the speculation, there's some truth when you start to put the dots together. And if you think of it like that, it starts to make a little bit more sense. Because we all know Joe Biden was compromised and somebody had control over him. And we never understood maybe what it was. We all figured it was his son's business dealings, something of that sort. But once you see this cancer diagnosis now, and we know that it's not something that just happened last week, we know that it's something that's been years in the making. I think you put the story together, and it all makes a lot of sense that Joe Biden had something held over his head, and it was his prostate cancer. Shout out to Hillary Hastings. Thank you for your show. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you tuning in. A shout out to Mark, if he's tuned in from over at Newsmax, the director. As I got on with John Bachman yesterday, he whispered in my ear. He said, "Hey, I just want to let you know I tune into the Great America Show, and I love the work you're doing." So, Mark, if you're tuned in from Newsmax, I appreciate you tuning in every night to the Great America Show. What do we got here from Sunny Bunny? President Trump will win his big, beautiful bill. God is fixing to make his move. Listen, I hope the thing passes through because President Trump is the greatest president of our lifetime. There's no better person who's been president. there's absolutely no person who's been better for this country since perhaps Ronald Reagan, or perhaps not Ronald Reagan. I put Donald Trump at number one. I know the great Lou Dobbs put Donald Trump at number one. Speaking of the great Lou Dobbs, Kelly Song had asked earlier in the show, how is Mrs. Dobbs doing? Mrs. Dobbs is doing wonderful. I speak to her every single day. We text all day, every day. Sports. She's a big sports fan, a big football fan, big fan of the Chargers, San Diego Chargers. Not much of a basketball fan, but a big, big, big football fan. So I constantly give her grief about the Chargers as a disgruntled New York Giants fan myself. But Mrs. Dobbs is doing wonderful, and a big supporter of the Great America Show and the great legacy of the great Lou Dobbs. We've got a question from Fall Girl, another one of our wonderful viewers who tunes in every night. Fall Girl, I appreciate you. Aren't there symptoms of prostate cancer before later stage? Yeah, so the simple symptoms are increased urination, a shorter bladder. So you notice you go to the bathroom a lot more, maybe in the middle of the night, maybe at times, you weren't used to going to the bathroom. The other one is that's common is blood in your urine. There's a few, but at the stage where he's at right now, he had symptoms. This didn't just pop up. It didn't just come out and say, hey, you've got prostate cancer. It's something that's been in the making for some time. I want to take one more quick break here. I know it said the last one. We're going to take one more quick break, but we're going a little bit overtime today. We're going to come back. We're going to bring you a big story on Elon Musk and that Marxist Dem member of Congress who's now facing 8 years in jail. Alina Habba is playing no games in New Jersey. Folks, we're coming right back with those two stories. Questions, comments, concerns. This is going to be our last segment, so get your questions in now. Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, wherever you guys are tuning in from. Be sure to let us know where you're tuning in from, and if you got any questions, I'm happy to take them. We're coming right back, folks. Stay with us here on The Great America Show.
Just like all of you, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. I'd flip-flop all night, use my arm for support, and fall asleep, or I'd wake up with a sore neck or maybe a headache. Well, quality sleep comes from keeping your neck straight at night. You have to fill in that space between your head and your bed. That's why I invented My Pillow. My Pillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it doesn't matter if you sleep on your back, stomach, side, or any combination of all three.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night, and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get Classic King My Pillows for only $19.98. Queen size just $18.98. Standard Classic My Pillows only $14.98. That's right, only $14.98. Plus all orders $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Thanks for staying with us, folks. Before we wrap up here, we got some stories that we're going to cover. Questions, comments, concerns before we wrap up here. Feel free to throw them in the chat. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in every night for the Great America Show. Please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and follow button. And we appreciate it. And if you're joining us on YouTube, we appreciate it. Please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and comment button there. Leave us a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know how you like the show. Fall Girl, Buffalo, New York in the house. My sister's a big Buffalo Bills fan. Man, I'll reserve my comments. You guys do have amazing pizza and wings, though. Beautiful, beautiful city. As for your sports teams, not so much. And by the way, one of my first jobs, Fall Girl, was for Congressman Chris Collins, who covered that area up there. No longer up there anymore. One of the first people targeted, by the way, from the Justice Department for being the first member of Congress to support Donald Trump for president. So Kelly Song, Maryland in the house. Our good friend Russ Tice, who joins us here on the show. Big Maryland guy. We do love Maryland. Baltimore Ravens, hell of a football team. Before we get to Elon Musk and what Elon Musk is up to, Alina Habba is playing no games in the not-so-great state or Marxist-run state of New Jersey. Let's take a look at what is transpiring out there for that Marxist member of Congress who decided that she wanted to assault members of ICE. By the way, big shout out to the Gateway Pundit, a terrific news organization, a terrific source for news. LaMonica McClever appears before a judge on federal charges. She's ordered to surrender her firearms, cannot leave the United States, and faces 8 years in prison. This was the Marxist Dem who she turned herself in her own self-reconnaissance. The judge ordered McClever to surrender her firearms, said she's not going to travel outside the United States. How does it feel? This is what you guys did to Donald Trump. They made him surrender his one gun that he owns. I can't imagine Donald Trump probably ever carried a gun in his life. He's not the kind of guy to carry a gun, but this is what they did to him. They made his life hell. Everyone around him made his life hell. Now you guys are getting payback. But there's only one difference. The one difference is Donald Trump committed no crime. You people do, and you did. You assaulted ICE officers, and now you're going to pay the price for it. The gloves are off. Just remember, you guys are the ones who set this precedent. Donald Trump in 2016, he took the high road. He could have went after Hillary Clinton. His base wanted Hillary Clinton locked up. We all did. Whether it be Benghazi, whether it be her disgrace to the law of deleting emails. Any of that. We all wanted Hillary Clinton in jail. But Donald Trump, you know what he said? I'm going to take the high road. It was a campaign. It was grueling. Things got personal. But we're going to move on. And we're going to do it for the sake of the country. And you know what? It was the biggest mistake that Donald Trump ever made. Because what was going to happen to him the next 6 years is probably something he never expected in his life. Us as Americans, I don't think we ever expected to happen what happened to Donald Trump the next 6 years after he decided, or 7 years, or 8 years, after he decided not to prosecute Hillary Clinton. So the gloves are off, and you have nobody to thank but yourself. Bob Menendez, this Marxist member of Congress, or all the rest of them who are getting caught stealing and insider trading, or whatever the heck they're doing. You guys set this precedent. You wanted to arrest and jail your political opponent, put him behind bars for 75 years or 750 years for paying off a porn star with his own money. You sent his chief financial officer to jail because Donald Trump paid for the grandkids' school or bought him a car. That's how low you guys had to stoop. You did it to yourself. You guys did it to yourself. But I love to see it now because the wheels of justice are in motion. Andrew Cuomo is under investigation. Federal investigation for his lying and killing people in nursing homes here in New York. You guys did it to yourself. If you didn't F with the guy and you left him be and you let him run a fair election, things would be so different right now. We could probably have a united country. People could probably get along. But you Democrats have ruined that. You've ruined the fibers in it. You've separated families. One side of the family supports Trump. The other one hates Trump. Funerals. I heard a story the other day. A family, a very heavy Democratic family, had a passing in the family. And because the other side of the family were supporters of Donald Trump, they told them, don't come to the funeral. We don't need your respects. That's what the Marxist Dems have managed to do to this country. Divide and conquer, divide and conquer. The race wars. You're watching what they're doing right now. They're propping up and they're fueling race wars just as we enter the summer. You guys remember the summer of love, Kyle Rittenhouse, George Floyd. It's not going to happen again, though. I can assure you of that. Donald Trump is playing no games, and militaries will be on the street in America. He's not going to put up with another summer of love. The last summer of love you guys decided to do in the middle of an election season, and Donald Trump said, you know what? We're not going to send in the military for bad optics. But this time around, he's not running for re-election again. So he's damn well not going to let you guys burn down cities once again. And obviously, I'm not talking to you guys, the viewers, because you don't do that stuff. But for these Democrats who thought they were going to tear down America, that message is for you. It ain't happening again. So the wheels of justice, like I said, are continuing to move. Let's get on to Elon Musk before we wrap up tonight's show. Any last minute questions, concerns, please feel free to drop them in there. Like I said, we're on Instagram now at The Great America Show. You can follow me on Twitter at John Fawcett NY. I have a lot more fun on there than I probably should be having. People get the best of me on there, but you know what? We all deserve fun sometimes. So let's move on to Elon Musk. Elon Musk pretty much saying his goodbyes. He's moving on. He's moving back on to Tesla. Sort of interesting. Let's take a listen to when he was asked about it on a political forum just this week.
Influence. I wondered whether you have decided yet how much you're going to spend on the upcoming midterms. Is it you spent a lot more money on the last US election than you envisaged when you were speaking here 3 years ago? Are you going to continue to spend at that kind of level on future elections?
I think in terms of political spending, I'm going to do a lot less in the future.
And why is that?
I think I've done enough.
Is it because of blowback?
Well, if I see a reason to do political spending in the future, I will do it. I do not currently see a reason.
Okay. What about political influence beyond the US? How often do you speak to President Putin?
I don't speak to President Putin.
You've never spoken to President Putin?
I was on a video call with him once about 5 years ago.
Okay. That's the only.
Why would you think I speak to President Putin? Oh, you must. I get it.
Because
You
I've
believe
heard
the
you
legacy.
speak. Actually, I've heard you speak about it. For example, in your West Point speech, you said, "Oh, I challenged President Putin to was it an arm wrestle?" And I know the Wall Street Journal has reported your reported conversations.
Oh, yes.
If you're saying they haven't happened other than once, I'll take that as read.
Is there a worse publication on the face of the earth than the Wall Street Journal? I wouldn't use that to line up my cage for paragraph links.
Boy, I'm going to miss seeing that man every single day. He's so brilliant. Not even just on the engineering aspect of it. He's just such a brilliant man in everything he does. Totally hysterical. But he's right. The Wall Street Journal is a rag newspaper. Notice how they tried to go down the Russia collusion. Imagine that. Elon Musk now being accused of Russian collusion because he told Vladimir Putin he'd like to arm wrestle him. That's colluding with Russia, folks. Don't forget that. Before we go, we've got another good one from Elon in that same style interview. Going after Bill Gates. Bill Gates in the recent weeks had called out Elon Musk saying people were going to die because of his cuts to the Doge program. Take a listen to his message for Bill Gates.
I do want to ask you about US aid and the comments that Bill Gates made the other day, and I know that you called him...
Yeah, he's a huge liar.
I know, you've said that already. I wondered...
Also,
and I'm just...
Who does Bill Gates think he is to make comments about the welfare of children, given that he frequented Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, well, he said he regrets those, and he spent a lot of his own money on philanthropy around the world over the years. My question to you is: have you looked at the data to check if he might be right that the cuts to USAID might cost millions of lives?
Yes. I'd like him to show us any evidence whatsoever that is.
Bill Gates, really? Jeffrey Epstein's pal? I don't know why Elon and Donald Trump consistently send themselves into these lions' dens. But it does make for great television. It does make for great sound bites because these people are total fools. Hillary Haskins, I found you on Stephen Gardner. I'm sorry I forgot your name, but I enjoy listening nonetheless. My name is John Fawcett. Hillary, nice to meet you. I appreciate you tuning in. Stephen Gardner, for anyone who doesn't tune into Stephen Gardner, really a good friend of mine, does a great show. The Stephen Gardner Show on YouTube has a massive following of a few million people. I'm on his show pretty often. He's on my show pretty often. Very good, solid dude. So we recommend his show to you. When you're not here on the Great America Show, luckily he puts out his show earlier in the day and we're here at nighttime. Folks, as always, I truly appreciate you guys tuning into us each and every night here, each and every day for the Great America Show and the Great America Show midday updates in the afternoon on audio. Once again, if you're following us on YouTube, we appreciate it. If you're not, please follow us at The Great America Show on YouTube, on Instagram at The Great America Show. There, we're going to be doing, like I said, we're going to be doing some giveaways, some fun stuff in the coming weeks. So we hope you can join us for that and test your luck with us here on The Great America Show. We've got one more comment here before we head off into the sunset. We got a few more. Kelly Song. I think I need glasses. This was a great show. Thank you, John. Kelly, thank you so much for tuning in every night. We really appreciate it. Strafer, if I'm saying that right. Gates is just evil. No charity is vanity's sake. You're absolutely right. Everything Bill Gates has his hands in. There's a very good book for those of you who want to read it. I don't hawk books unless I read them. Control Oligarchs by Seamus Bruner. It's written under Peter Schweitzer's book title. It's called Control Oligarchs. And the whole first half of the book is how Bill Gates has literally had his hands in everything he shouldn't have had his hands in since the beginning of time. Medical issues with the Rockefellers. A terrific, terrific read. I really recommend it to you if you want to see how just evil Bill Gates is. George Soros, the rest of these fellows who undermine democracy, not just in America, but undermine democracy all across the world. Folks, as always, like I said, I appreciate you guys tuning in to us tonight and each and every night here on The Great America Show. Please be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Great America Show. I'm on Twitter at John Fawcett NY and at The Great America Show on Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and now YouTube. As I said, we're going to see you back here tomorrow, folks. I hope for The Great America Show, where our quest for truth, justice, and the American way continues against all odds, against all haters, against all enemies. I come out here and put on this show every day for you guys, not caring what target gets put on my back, because I know that I'm delivering a true show, just as the great Lou Dobbs did, just as the great Lou Dobbs taught me for the 5 years or so that I was his right-hand man and like to say wingman. There's we put on this honest show for you guys because you deserve it. We know you're not getting it on the mainstream media. We know you're not getting it anywhere else, Fox News, wherever you go. The Knicks are on tonight at 8 p.m. My New York Knicks. I'm a disgruntled season ticket holder, and we're in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. I don't think we've seen the finals since 1970s, long, long, long before I was born. So say a prayer tonight if you guys are religious for the New York Knicks and for the next few nights until we make it into the finals. But big game tonight, 8 p.m., folks. Like I said, tomorrow we'll see you back here, same time, same place for the Great America Show. Until then, may God bless you, may God bless America, and may God bless the great Lou Dobbs, folks. God bless you all. We'll see you tomorrow here for the Great America Show. Have a wonderful night. Good night from New York.